Oops. Babe, Rob's here.
Hi, Rob.
Come on, yellow. Yes, he is home. Aren't you, babe?
I am.
It's Tracy. It's Tracy. Heck here. There we go. Yeah. What's new and exciting, everybody? Well, there you go. In a nutshell, Rob's got nothing. The Chuck can. Oh, see, he he made it through. Yay! Didn't take that long, right? It was only a few minutes. $10. There you go. See? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I mean, you just gotta do those drops. That's important. They moved the appointment from 9:40 to 6:40. They didn't understand you're not a morning person. Wow, that's early. Yeah, right? He can help you drive to Michigan. That's awesome. Wow, he's even mentioned going to Hershey. When? Yeah. Well, if you're going to Hershey, you may as well come to Jersey for NJ26. I was trying to get his mother in for cataract surgery. We screwed him. My mother had hers done a couple years ago. I mean, you're literally 3 hours from the campground, Trace. If you go to Hershey. You're literally, if you go to Hershey, you're 3 hours from us. That's how long the drive is between here, the campground and Hershey. Put too much red in here. Babe, can you give me a paper towel, please?
Is it something you feel strongly about?
You're trying to figure out how to be away for a month. Well, it's kind of like just do it. You only live once, just do it. Just do it. And your son lives across the street. Thanks, love. Wipe some of this off. There's too much red on here.
The Vampire Museum. Because I want to go and can't. What?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I heard the Vampire Museum sucks, personally.
Good. Very possible.
Oh,
The sky will fix itself eventually. I've never even heard of the Vampire Museum. What?
I have no idea.
I don't know why that just happened because I didn't touch anything. Anyway, if I'm able to, it will be sometime after 11 o'clock.
But the even with the Wii boost, the signal once we're in the uh, once we're on the trail is just terrible.
I might try and do it through the Wi-Fi on the truck. See if that works. Hello?
Yes, we can try that.
Oh, I didn't know it was crappy. Melon just like turned me off and closed my window, and I had to turn it back on again. Melon, I guess it's Xfinity. I don't know. As long as it got better, that's important. We've been having issues here with Verizon and messing up everybody's phones yesterday, and I mean, I didn't have an issue, but anyway, yeah. I mean, if I can get through with doing it on the with the Wi-Fi in the Jeep, then we'll see what happens. Otherwise, it'll be a wait for the video to come out type of day. But once you're like way back in the back um of the forest back there, it's just like you get nothing. And if you do, it's all pixely.
Pixelated.
So we'll see what happens. It'll be after 11. I mean, we don't have to be at the Piccalilli until 10:45. So by the time everybody gets there, and
There's coffee and they have meeting. And
yeah, it'll be after 11 o'clock.
make sure your bells are on. We'll try.
I guess that's good enough. I'm not gonna mess with that anymore. Alright, now I need this. I hope I can do this straight because I'm left-handed and not left-handed people cannot draw straight lines by federal law, so we'll see what happens. I did a painting like this a couple of years ago in an oil paint, and I wound up giving it to. Is that the one you gave Bob Monticelli? The with the trees and the waterfall in the back, yeah. I was planning on going to the winter illuminations in London end of the month. Do they have canaries at Canary Wharf? Can you see all the canaries?
They're all freezing now.
I know they shouldn't have canaries out.
They're
This-
penguins.
Right, exactly. Penguins. Gotta have the penguins. Gotta have the penguins. Anyway, I did a painting like this a couple of years ago. um, and then I wound up Jim had me, or Jim gave it to his grandmaster at the time when he was on grand staff. So,
Well, we gave it to the grandmaster.
somebody did. I painted it. You gave it to him.
We gave it to him. You painted it and we gave it to him. Stop making me sound like that I'm some sort of slave driver. Paint that! I'm going to give it away.
Actually, it was an afterthought. It wasn't made specifically for him. But so it just kind of like stuck in my head, like, hey, let's redo this. So we'll see how well we do. No guarantees. Because you can't plan things like that. You just kind of have to let them happen. You know. No, it was a waterfall back here in the middle with the water here and then some trees and, blah, blah, blah. I think I have it in my intro. I can't remember. It was an oil painting. Already bitchy, get very little done stream soon. I feel the urge to create. Oh, okay. It's whenever you have a Thursday off. And whenever on a Thursday that your interwebs wants to work. There's not gonna be a lot of light on this border because there's gonna be trees and stuff encroaching on the light, so that's not gonna work. Yes, webs on a Thursday.
At the same time.
Yep, at the very same time. So Jim's coffee maker broke.
Well, you knew it was going to broke, and you didn't tell me.
I didn't know it was gonna
It was your
break.
fault.
I didn't know it was gonna break. We went to the mall over the weekend, and the dead mall, and the Macy's is going out of business. So we were walking around the Macy's, and I said to Jim, I says, you know, you should really buy this coffee maker. It's like 40% off. I forgot what brand it was. Nespresso, but it wasn't the espresso. It was just a regular coffee maker that took grounds and the K cups. He's like, no, my coffee maker's fine. It works great, blah, blah, blah. And what happened today? His coffee maker broke. He's trying to say I had ESP, and that I knew that this was going to happen.
She willed it.
I did not will it.
She said, I'll teach you not to listen to me when you're at the store where things are on sale.
At 40% off, and you may not be able to get them ever again at that price. So, needless to say, Jim is coffee makerless, and when we went to Dunkin' tonight, I had to get him a coffee. So we will see how much enthusiasm he has now to go out and buy a coffee maker, because he can't make coffee anymore. He didn't buy any socks. He could have bought a coffee maker, but he didn't buy any socks either. So
No, I didn't buy any socks.
nope. So yeah, trying to blame me because I foreshadowed that
It's your fault.
the coffee maker was going to break.
Said, I had a vision while I was sleeping that your coffee maker's going to break. You should buy a new one. Did she tell me that? No.
He still wouldn't have bought it. He still wouldn't have bought it.
I'm cheap.
But he's got to have his coffee, so yeah. Tracy bought a French press for herself. He's not that bougie with his coffee. He is not that bougie with his coffee.
A French press is just a different way of making coffee, that's all.
It's a lot of work. Who wants to go through all that work when you can throw a K-cup in there, push a button, and be done with it? If Sonia loved Jim, she would have ordered him one on Amazon and just quietly slid it into place. I bought him 3 coffee makers at the camper. And he's on his 3rd one down at the campground. So I should have just bought the damn coffee maker and said, "Here, you need this," and we wouldn't be having this conversation. But you know, he didn't want it, so I didn't press it. The Chuck has multiple coffee makers. So he's got a coffee maker in the greenhouse. He's got a coffee maker in his workshop. He's got a coffee maker in the barn. He's got a coffee maker in... He would not have let me buy the coffee maker, Rob. Okay, let's just get that out in the open right now. He would not. No. Okay. Okay. Two in the house, one in his office, one in his workshop, and 1 or 2 in the shed. See? Everywhere he goes, Chuck could have coffee. Wow. He doesn't have to trudge all the way back to the house just to have his coffee. There you go. There you go. One could say he avoids you. Now, why would he want to do that? Why would Chuck want to avoid you? Are you saying that you drive him crazy? Or is he saying that you drive him crazy? Something's going on. I don't know. Buy the damn coffee maker. Stop being a bloody. Stop being bloody difficult and have a new coffee maker. It doesn't need to be this hard. He said he was going to go on Amazon and look at coffee makers.
I'm looking at them right now.
Oh, he's looking at them right now. Okay, so he is looking at coffee makers. So I mean, the first coffee maker that we had in the camper was a Keurig 1 cup Space Saver. That lasted a few years, and then that crapped out. And then the other one that I bought, that I did the unboxing video on, where you guys saw him unbox a coffee maker on the live stream, that one crapped out after like a year and a half. So now he's on his third one. So, it's tough being Jim because keep breaking coffee makers. Yeah, I have the coffee maker. Alright, that'll have to do. So we got some reflection of the sky. I, on the other hand, have this $50 gift card from work that I have to use by July. And I don't know what to get. I don't know what to buy.
Well, I can buy the same one that I bought for your mother.
Yeah, but you don't make iced coffee. There shall be a Jim unboxing video of a coffee maker by Sunday. There shall be, he says. I mean, it's just a coffee maker, nothing special. Just coffee. Just coffee. The one at the camper now seems to work pretty well. That's a decent coffee maker. That's an Insta coffee maker. Insta. I need some green. Where's my green? There's the green. Where is my other green? Where's Fatima? I have questions to. Fatima made her reservations for Michigan.
I saw that.
It's been some time. Do I need to dust off the old motivational whomping stick? You see, alone and supported and in silence. Ah!
I ordered.
What'd you order?
I ordered the same coffee maker as your mother has.
Okay.
It was on sale.
Okay.
Free shipping.
Okay.
Should be here by Saturday.
Well, yay! The coffee maker has been ordered. Dun 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 dun. Oh, sorry. Celebration time.
I mean, I can't complain because the coffee maker that I was using was actually out of the house in Florida.
Oh, that was your mother's?
That was my mother's.
Ah.
So
I guess I should throw both of these tubes away because there's no paint left in them. No reason to keep them if there's no paint in them. The coffee maker has been ordered. E-I-E-I-O.
you know what's going to happen now, right?
What's that?
That coffee maker that they wanted you to test is going to show up at the house.
Well, they never got back to me saying, okay, it's shipped. So I'm not.
I could tell you. I just have to find your address and then I'll just put it in the.
It's 3 days from Tracy's house.
Yeah, it
to
would be one. Well, I don't know. I don't know how far it is.
Well, if they're at Hershey.
It's 3 hours from Hershey.
Yeah, well, that's what I just told her. But, Hershey is after us?
I think it's
Or is it before? I think it's after.
After.
So they'd have to come to us first and then go to Hershey from Mays Landing.
There's a secret merch menu.
The UK branch of Dunkin' has a secret merch menu. I shall endeavor to find it for you. Is this like only stuff that like you come in through the back door to order?
I don't know. Did you text me their address at one time? It's like 1,080 miles. Yeah, so depending on how far you drive in a day, it's either 2 long days or 3 normal days.
Let me see if I still have the text message. I do, I think I do. Yeah, it's right here. Rob's like, you could do it in a day. No toll roads.
No toll roads. That
might be difficult.
Well, not difficult. It just depends on.
Maybe.
Let me just look at it.
Jim will look at it.
So
Jim will look at it. Oh, hell, it's Scott. Sorry. No turnpikes. No Chicago. No, you don't have to go through Chicago to get to Jersey.
actually, they do have to go through Chicago.
She said no Chicago.
Okay. The no toll route, which I'm not quite sure how in God's name you get across the Delaware River without paying a toll, but is 18 hours and 17 minutes of drive time.
Plus an hour for pit stops.
What? Yeah.
What was I going to say? Well, we know of one bridge to get from Jersey to. That's not a toll bridge, but you ain't fitting a camper through it.
Where? The one up in
The one in in Lambertville. Well, yeah, the one going from Lambertville to New Hope, and then the one going from
Belvedere.
Belvedere.
You can pull a trailer. My father used to pull a trailer across that.
Tracy doesn't like big roads.
Well, let's just see.
I don't know how you're going to get from Jersey to Hershey without taking a major highway.
Well, they can go across and take 80 to get to Hershey.
She doesn't like large roads. She doesn't like interstates.
Let's see. You start out at your house.
You start at your house. That's a good place to start. Make sure you start at your house.
And then when you get to Y.
To Y?
Literally.
What's Y?
Y. It's the next road.
Y is the name of
the... on N.
Yeah.
And when they get to Y, they turn right.
That's half the alphabet.
And then they drive on Y because...
Why? Because...
when they get to State 29, then they stay on State 29.
Balls.
Now I got to go back to N.
I gotta go back to N.
Where the hell are they?
They live in the middle of freaking nowhere.
No, that's not the point.
They live on the very edge of Wisconsin. Like, who's on first? Yeah. She's like, maybe I'll skip Hershey.
There you go.
She take 51.
Then you turn right onto Y.
Look what she wrote. She's not
then
going.
You turn left onto 29.
Middle. I'm sorry, the middle. Look, she said she's not going on 41. So you have to make sure she doesn't go on 41.
And then you turn right on 45.
He said, nope, not Y.
What do you mean not Y? Why?
Why not Y?
I'm just looking at what it says on Google Maps.
We don't have the Garmin here to send you through a cornfield.
And you stay on 45 for a long time. 2.
Just take out the toll road thing on here. I did. Okay.
Us 10.
Us 10. Then she'd have to go through Milwaukee. I'll have to do some map planning. I have paper maps. She doesn't do Milwaukee either. She said Milwaukee's not a fun place to be. We already had that discussion.
Now, she doesn't want to take I-41. Is that correct? I think that's the one she said.
Yeah, not 41, yeah.
Well, I don't know.
See, it's too bad that there's like a 2-week gap between our meetup and Michigan, because then we could ride together to Michigan. You know? I-39.
I just changed the trip options. So if I take out all the things she doesn't want to drive on, it takes 3 days.
That's what she said, yeah.
No, it takes I'm kidding.
No, she said 3 days.
1 day and 2 hours. It's 1,135 miles, but there's no tolls.
Gary, Indiana.
Just trying to figure out. Oh, I don't know.
You know what they could do if they come to Jersey for the meetup, and she could do East Coast exploring, like what like and try and stay under the lake, under Lake Erie, like like not New York, but well, yeah, New York, upstate New York. They could come back down because I don't even know what roads we're taking to get from Jersey to Michigan either. We haven't planned that far ahead yet. We could like meet in the middle and then go to Michigan. That was my thought. Because it's always fun to convoy. And now that we won't go to a cornfield, we'll get to the campground in one without taking a tour. We did that with Fatima last year. We went from the Ford Museum up to the campground. It was only 2 hours, but and even then, her niece wound up taking a wrong turn. She wasn't that far behind us, but and then the year before, 3 years ago, we convoyed with Gord, yeah, and Don and Charity and Fatima. It has a great bar, he says.
Motorbike bar. A biker bar.
Gary is not a great place to be at night. Unless you're Rob. Then you know.
All right. Well, more research shall go into this.
I need my other bar. Tracy's gonna sell her bike to finance the trip. You sure you want to do that? You don't ride it anymore? Oh wow, okay. She didn't even put the battery in last year. We can't even get Scott to come to Jersey. You weren't here last year because your daughter moved out there. Or she was visiting that same week. I was talking about last year. Live streams don't count. getting your mindset changed from we've got one more day to we've got one day less. One day less. You will never ever see Scott ever. Ever. Home canned stew and hot honey cornbread is on the table for tonight's dining pleasure. Oh. Look like you had some good lunch going on there with your little charcuterie tray. That looked like a yummy lunch. Never say never. I might show up on your doorstep one day. uh, Chuck's cheese was cut into hearts. I saw that. You're such a great wife. You know New Jersey is in Arizona, right? He was so close. He had money budgeted, whole 9 yards. He was ready to go, and then bam! His daughter was like, "Oh, I'm coming to visit that week." And he was like, "Well, I'm not going to be there that weekend, right?" And he was like, "Can you move it to the following week?" And she was like, "No." Meh, 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 meh. That's the story that I got. You know. So, yep. Yep. He doesn't like. I'm not a fan of cornbread either. Never really was. It's kind of up there with biscuits. But the question is, Scott, did they actually buy a house? Oh, it's hot. Hot. It's hot peppercorn bread. Oh, they did? Okay. It's gotta make sure. Gotta make sure because sometimes those things don't work out. Oh, okay. Alright, now it's tree time. And I can fix everything else later. I don't want this brush. I need this brush. And I need a small skinny brush. New Year's Eve feels like last year. Funny thing about that. It may or may not be last year. Okay, we need a bit of bent umber. And we need a splash of white. Just a splash, though. Splash. And we're just gonna see what we got here. Alright, so we're gonna throw a tree into the water like this. Just a branch, you know. Rob came along and he didn't like the tree, so he just kind of like, pushed it into the water. You know. He was very anti-nature that day. Kind of like that. And then, after Rob pushed the branch into the water, or the tree into the water, then Scott came along and Scott said, "Oh, yeah? Well, I can push a bigger branch into the water." And Scott pushed a big old tree into the water, and it kind of went like this, like it was a big old tree, just like that. And trying to show Rob up, he just kind of like pushed it in the water like this, and, yeah. No, you did. This is you. You and Scott. Okay, this is you and Scott. I would have said that. So Rob pushed this branch into the water, and Scott showed him up, and he said, "Oh, I can push a bigger branch in the water. You're not as strong as I am. Go to the bin, Rob." And then he did one of these, and it was a big old branch. Had like a lot of stuff hanging up off the top of it, and big old trunk on it like this, and yep. So, you know. And then Then a beaver came along and took advantage of the opportunity and built a dam, flooding the neighboring town and leaving people homeless. Ah. Oh, shit. Damn. You know, just kind of did one of these things. We're not done yet. There's more to this story. There's more to this story. I'll fill in the finer details of the trees as soon as I get the basic look. And I'll go back and fix everything. So then, if you look at the background, you can see Jim dumping a coffee maker in the dog. Ah. All right, so obviously Scott's tree is bigger than Rob's tree is. So there's that. And then Chuck came along with his trusty tractor. Okay. And genetics. So then Chuck came along riding on his trusty tractor, and he got off his tractor and he said to Rob and Scott, "You boys don't know what the hell you're doing. In fact, look at this mess that you left all over the place." And, you know, so Chuck had to, put the front loader attachment on his tractor. And, because Rob and Scott left all the branches and the twigs and the leaves and all kinds of things laying around. So he had to come and clean up Scott and Rob's mess, because that's what you do when you're the Chuck. Don't look at me like that.
I'm just reading what Rob just wrote.
Chuck, don't you be... Who's up with your amateur hour case? God. So... So Chuck came around after cleaning up Rob and Scott's mess with his trusty tractor with the front loader attachment, and he brought in some new trees. So Chuck started planting new trees. So, and, he's just scooting along on his tractor, planting trees, and making things beauteous again, because he's the Chuck and that's what he does. And all of a sudden we had new trees. Chuck can move the trees together and make a lovely bridge. Oh, look, it's Mr. I can see again, driving his hobby horse plow around the riverside. Ruining the beaver's new home. So anyway, Chuck's tootling around on his tractor, planting new trees, making things pretty again. Because that's what the Chuck does. He's planted over 10,000 trees between this place and your last place. Wow. See? And I didn't even know that. I was just making up a story. So, Chuck's planting all the trees, making things look pretty again. Is there some sort of protected species of fish or a frog in that creek? I didn't get that far yet. I don't know. Probably, but you can't see them. So then, gotta make this a little bit bigger because it's a little closer. Yeah, I gotta give some strength to these trees because Chuck planted them. So they gotta be big and burly trees. Oh look, now the Chuck has a pretty little picnic spot to take his lovely wife to. See, it all works out at the end, right? Can see them through all the runoff. Jim's not saying a word about my story because
I'm just listening to see how. Has she offered meds again? No.
So then, you know, Rob and Scott are mad at Chuck now because Chuck just fixed everything that they ruined because he's Chuck and he's here to save the day. You know? And Rob and Scott get into a tuffle on the grass. So while they're tuffling around, rolling around on the grass, fighting about, whatever they're fighting about, because at this point, who knows? Chuck is just not minding, doesn't have a care in the world because he's just planting his trees. And then Tracy comes along. Kung Fu fighting on the grass, right? And then Tracy comes along. And you don't want to mess with Tracy because she'll kick your butt. Tracy comes along to break up Scott and Rob's little thing they got going on over there. And she says, there will be no fighting and no rolling around on the grass near my wonderful picnic spot. So you guys better take it somewhere else because this is my picnic spot. Because you don't want to mess with Tracy's picnic spot. Because Chuck made the picnic spot when he planted the new trees. Why does this almost feel like therapy? So then, um, because she was feeling lucky, she says. So then Rob proceeded to try and throw Scott into the bin, which didn't work because Scott found a giant sky winky, and it distracted Rob. And then after Scott showed Rob the giant sky winky, Scott ran away. That's great, but who has dumped a clapped out red and white rust heap pile of machinery in the picnic spot? So after Scott ran away, Rob realized that it was a trick. It's okay, I'll get him a new one. Scott and the Giant Sky Winky was not a book written by Ronald Dahl. So after Scott ran away and Rob realized that it was a trick, he proceeded to hijack Chuck's tractor and try to chase Scott down with Chuck's tractor. Say goodbye. And Tracy kicked Rob's butt before Chuck could get to him for trying to steal Chuck's tractor. And I'll tell you, you'll have good luck. and all of a sudden Tracy got really quiet, so I don't know what I don't know if Chuck is laughing. I don't know what's going on over there, but they got really quiet. You do know that tractor has to be hot wired. It's just, I mean, maybe Scott found the key. I mean, maybe it didn't have to be hot wired after all. Well, Scott ran away, but maybe, I said Rob tried to steal the tractor. No, nothing. We don't know if he was actually successful or not. He might have tried to steal it, but he wasn't. There's no ignition switch. Well. So after Rob was unsuccessful in stealing Chuck's tractor, then Chuck was able to continue going on with his tree planting. And Jim is just sitting here in total silence because he doesn't know what to think of my story. I think personally it's a pretty good story. In the end, well, no, we're not at the end yet, but Scott winds up coming back because he's really mad at Rob. And he winds up pushing Rob into the river.
Which is hard in Arizona.
No, they're here.
Oh, they're here.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Scott comes back and he's mad. And he pushes Rob into the river. Look at all. That's not nice. Yeah. But it's fun. Go with the story. Just go with it, Scott. Just go with it. You come back, you push Rob into the river. Okay. And Chuck is just tootling along, planting his trees, not a care in the world, not paying attention to either one of you knuckleheads. Tracy's lounging under the tree at her new picnic spot. Unfortunately, she forgot her hammock, so she can't, put a hammock up or anything. And so she has to sit on the grass and wait for Chuck to be finished on it, planting his trees. Chuck can't swim, so no rescue attempt. Do I hold him under the water? No. You're just continuing your kerfuffle in the river because you are bound and determined not to get beat by Rob. Okay, this is not okay with you. No, bug bites. You should have brought your hammock. um, she's got bug bites. But all of a sudden, Rob gets distracted
While he's in the river drowning.
while he's in the river. And he stops, and then Scott stops because Rob stops. Don't give me like that.
Go ahead.
If a spider comes, I'm out of there. And Rob looks over towards the far end of the river, and he notices.
Moo.
There's no cows here either. He notices that there's a waterfall at the. He notices that there's a waterfall way down the other end of the river. And behind the waterfall is a cave. So what does Rob do?
He looks for Godzilla.
Godzilla.
In the cave behind the waterfall.
He swims down to the waterfall. Go over, make sure your feet first. He goes over to the waterfall and he goes to explore the cave. And of course, what does Scott do? He follows him. So now They went from fighting to getting along because they both like waterfalls and they both want to explore the cave behind the waterfall. A waterfall that can only be seen while you're underwater. What's this? Some budget. Nobody said you were underwater, Rob. Don't go chasing. Stick to the clogged up creeks and rivers we're fighting in. So they both go swimming over to, because Chuck can't swim, so he's just gonna ride on his trusty tractor over to the waterfall. Okay. So the three of them go over there, and Rob and Scott proceed to check out the cave behind the waterfall.
This is the same Scott that threw Rob in the water in the first place?
Yes, they stopped fighting, and because Rob got distracted by the waterfall.
Difficult to find Rob getting distracted by anything. But it's your story. Go ahead. You didn't think I was paying attention.
But because Chuck can't swim, he's not dumb. He's going to ride his tractor over to the waterfall, and he's going to break out his GoPro, and he's going to film Rob and Scott going behind the waterfall to the cave. Because it's content. Meanwhile, Tracy, who forgot her hammock and forgot her chair, is sitting under the tree on the grass worried about bugs. Now, if she had brought her chair,
She could have put it in the middle of the road.
she could have put it in the middle of the road, which is not in the picture. And she could have sat there in the middle of the road in her chair at midnight. And then Chuck would have came back and took the wrong chair and left their chair. And, we know how that story goes.
Well,
The story has more plot holes. Can we bring the Winky to... Who says it? Yes! Yes! Use the Sky Winky as a torch. Absolutely. Go for it. Tracy's like, I'll just take Jim's chair. So anyway, even though Tracy forgot her chair or her hammock, Chuck remembered his GoPro. So this was content. So he was down there filming the whole thing. Sitting on his trusty tractor right back there with his, watching Scott and Rob fall into the abyss behind where the waterfall is. But Scott brought the Sky Winky as a torch because it is waterproof. So you can use it. You could use it in the cave. See? You can do all the things. What do I want to do here? So a little further back, away from her original little picnic spot, Tracy finds another tree just hanging out by itself. One that, Chuck had planted. I'm pretty sure if Rob and Scott have jewels in their pockets, they can time travel. They might. So about 20 minutes later, Rob and Scott emerge from the cave beyond the waterfall. And they come out from behind the waterfall and they look over, and there's Chuck sitting on his tractor with his GoPro, recording the whole thing. Just sitting there, minding his own business. And we're gonna put some leaves on this tree. On these trees. So Scott and Rob climb out of the river. Rob is calling Chuck some kind of name in British English that only they understand what he's talking about. And Scott gets out of the river and he looks up in the tree and he sees a treehouse. And Scott, being Scott, decides that he's going to climb the tree to check out the treehouse. I'm going to have to go do some work at some point. Can we get to the part where we kick everyone in the flobberly dobberlies and have a cookie? I didn't know that was part of the story. I don't think I planned that part. So Scott climbs up into the treehouse, and what does he find? He found one of Rob's tents in the treehouse. That's when Scott remembered his knees are crap and he isn't climbing. No, you found one of Rob's tents in the treehouse. A secret prepper stash, right? Rob has strategically placed tents. So Scott grabs the tent and he climbs back down the tree. And he says to Rob, he says,
Rob?
Rob? I do believe I found one of your tents. Well, Chuck starts laughing hysterically. Tracy comes running over. And she's like, Rob, why is your tent in the tree? Is that like your secret like survivor stash? Like what's going on? Well, Rob got mad at Scott again, and they start kerfuffling again. These two always fighting, I swear. Rob and Scott always fighting. Mm. But, you know, Jim has nothing to add to this story.
No, just yeah.
Why am I unwell? Can't help it. You left your tree in your tent in the frickin' treehouse. It's not my fault. Yell at Scott. He's the one that found it. This is the best painting ever. It tells a great story. Ah, where to start? I, I'm just sitting here telling a story because Tracy, just tell him it's his fault, please, because he left his tent in the treehouse. There was also a bottle of bourbon in the tent, and we all partake and think about life. And meanwhile, Jim, who is just standing on the shore looking at
Shaking my head.
shaking his head. Nothing special, Rob, really. Jim is just sitting in his chair, drinking his coffee, watching all, just shaking his head. He has absolutely nothing to say about any of this.
I figured if they're going to push each other in the water,
It's content.
use sky winkies for lights, swim to a waterfall.
Babe, there's
If Tracy get bitten by wild insects, there isn't much that I can add.
there was a cave behind the waterfall, love.
Well, that makes it even freakier.
Why?
Well, it's a cave with a shower. Did they bring any soap with them?
No, because nobody was prepared for anything.
Well,
They didn't bring a torch or a flashlight. Tracy forgot her hammock. But Chuck was prepared because he brought his tractor.
that's right.
Because he was planting trees. So, you know. Everybody else? Nope. 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 Why does this look so dark today?
I don't know.
Wild insects. What about emotional support insects? You're the one that never replaced Mr. Pinchy. You let him die. Some shadow here from the tree. No, just, it's like unusually dark. I don't know why. It's freaking winter. If you place 30 or more live scorpions in Scott's pants, you'll find it funny. I don't think he'll find it funny though. Let's see what else. How are you finding it funny? Okay. Well, considering that you're still kerfuffling with Scott, and you've already thrown him in the bin once, I don't know what to tell you. You guys need to you need an intervention, both of you. You both need an intervention. I have to fix one thing because it's a little crooked. I don't know what you guys found in the cave behind the waterfall. It was never disclosed what was found in the cave behind the waterfall. But so at the end of the day, Chuck was a happy Chuck because he got to replant some trees that Rob and Scott rudely knocked over. And, well, Tracy's just gonna have to come back and hang her hammock so she can have her picnic lunch. And she has to bring a table because there's no table here either. Unless she's gonna bring a picnic blanket and eat on the ground, but then you gotta worry about insects. So it just doesn't end. Just doesn't end. Maybe she'll just have lunch on the tractor. I don't know. About the red vines. Or Twizzlers. You might have found a pallet of Twizzlers back there. Bye, Rob. If you insist on doing work. But that's it. I think I'm going to leave it like that. She'll bring a blanket. I think I'm going to leave it like that. I'm not going to... Well, sorry. What the hell? So I hope you liked that off-the-cuff story that I made up. Bah. Story time with Sonia, right? Where the hell am I gonna... It's too wet to sign yet. Alright, I'll have to wait for it to dry, because I can't sign it yet. But we can pull tapes. And Tracy was able to go home without any insects. Scott got a free tent out of the deal. Chuck planted his trees that made him happy. It always looks better with the tape off. But that's what we got. Thanks. I thought the waterfall was a funny idea. Gotta have waterfall. Simple trees, not a whole lot of trees. Couple of dead ones that fell into the water. You know, just nature stuff. What does Chuck think? Does Chuck like it? Thanks, Scott. I mean, Rob could have just hung on to the branch, right? You don't have to worry about swimming. But anyway, we will see all of you fine people tomorrow. Because it's Ice Cream Friday tomorrow. He likes the picture in the story. It was probably like the goofiest story ever, but Off the cuff, you got to think about it quick. Thanks, Chuck. Did you say hi to Chuck, Dan?
Hello, the Chuck. Glad you brought your tractor to the story,
Right.
even though it was objected to by Rob because it wasn't green.
But anyway, we will see all you fine people tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. And I guess Robert's going to do another impromptu live stream.
I know, tomorrow?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he's going to do his regular live stream.
Yeah, I'm talking about
today.
the impromptu one.
The one during the day. We will see.
The Tussle and the Dead Tree Creek. There you go. The Tussle and the Dead Tree Creek. All right, peeps. We'll see you tomorrow. Ice Cream Friday. Thanks for hanging out. We'll talk to you later. Bye.